Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Fluently.
Hi, everyone. We are so happy you're here with us today.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Anna.
Giving advice in English can be tricky. You want to be helpful, but you don't want to sound rude or bossy.
Exactly. Today we'll learn natural and polite ways to give advice, starting with a real conversation. Let's jump in.
All right, let's start with the most common way to give advice.
I think I know this one. Is it using the word should?
Yes, exactly. We use should to say something is a good idea.
So if I want to help a friend, I just use should?
Right. The grammar is very simple. Subject plus should plus the verb.
Subject, should, verb. Can you give us an example?
Sure. Imagine I have a headache. What do you say?
I would say you should take some medicine.
Perfect. Notice you said take, not to take.
Ah, I see. So we never say you should to go.
No, never use to after should, just the base verb.
Just the base verb. You should go. You should eat.
Exactly. Now, what about the pronunciation?
Well, there is an L in the word, should.
That is true, but the L is silent. We don't say it.
Really? So it sounds like should?
Yes, should, like would or could.
Should. You should listen. You should study.
That sounds very natural, Anna.
What if I want to tell someone not to do something?
Then we use the negative form, should not.
Or the contraction, shouldn't.
Right. For example, if it is raining outside,
You shouldn't forget your umbrella.
good one. Or if I watch TV all night.
Adam, you shouldn't stay up so late.
I know. That is good advice.
Adam, is this way of speaking direct?
Yes, direct means straight to the point.
Is it rude to be direct?
No, not usually. Should is friendly. It just means I think this is good for you.
I get it. It is clear and simple.
Let's try one more quickly. I want to learn English faster.
Oh, you should listen to this podcast every day.
I agree completely. That is the best advice.
So that is the direct way.
Yes, but sometimes we want to be softer, less direct.
Softer. How do we do that?
We can ask a question instead.
Oh, I love that trick. Let's talk about that next.
Okay, let's talk about making advice softer.
You mentioned asking questions. How does that work?
Well, instead of telling someone what to do, you suggest it.
I see. So it feels less like an order?
Exactly. The most common phrase is, why don't you?
Why don't you? Okay, how do we use it?
It is very easy. Say, why don't you, plus the base verb.
Why don't you call your mom?
Perfect. It sounds like a friendly idea, right?
Yes, it sounds very polite.
Let's try another one. Imagine I'm thirsty.
Why don't you drink some water?
Great example. Now, let's look at a different phrase.
Is there another common one?
Yes, we often use how about.
How about? Is the grammar the same?
Actually, no. Be careful here. After how about, we use the verb with ing.
Oh, so we use the ing form?
Yes. For example, how about going to the cinema?
Ah, I see. Not how about go, it must be how about going.
Exactly. How about going? How about studying?
How about taking a break?
Not yet. We still have work to do.
Okay. So we have two ways now.
Can you remind us of the difference?
Sure. Why don't you uses the base verb, how about uses the ing verb.
You are a fast learner, Anna.
Thanks. I try my best.
Let's practice. I am bored today. Give me advice using both ways.
Okay, first way. Why don't you read a book?
Good. Now the second way.
How about reading a book?
Spot on. Both are excellent suggestions.
Adam, what does suggestion mean exactly?
A suggestion is an idea or a plan you give someone to think about.
An idea or a plan to think about. That is helpful.
Do you feel comfortable using these questions now?
Yes, I do. It feels very natural.
But sometimes a friend has a very difficult problem, a serious one.
Yeah, simple questions might not be enough.
In that case, we need to imagine we are that person.
You mean putting ourselves in their shoes?
Exactly. And that is what we'll learn next. Now, we're talking about difficult situations.
You mean when a friend has a really big problem?
Yes, when they are facing a dilemma.
A dilemma. That is a new word for me.
A dilemma is a difficult choice you have to make.
A difficult choice. Okay, so what do we say then?
We use a special phrase, if I were you.
Wait, if I were, shouldn't it be if I was?
Good catch. Usually we say I was, like I was tired.
Exactly. So why do we use were here?
Because this is imaginary. I am not you, right?
Ah, I see. It's not real, so the grammar changes.
Correct. In English, for imaginary advice, we always say, if I were you.
If I were you. Okay, what comes next?
We use I would plus the verb.
If I were you, I would apologize.
Perfect grammar. But native speakers often shorten it.
Do they say I'd?
Yes, I'd. It stands for I would.
If I were you, I'd apologize.
That sounds very natural. This phrase is about empathy.
Empathy. Does that mean understanding feelings?
Yes, it relates to an English idiom, put yourself in their shoes.
In their shoes? Like wearing their sneakers?
No, not literally. It means imagining you were in their life.
I like that idiom. Put yourself in their shoes.
Let's practice. Imagine I hate my job, but I need money.
That is a tough dilemma.
What would you do in my shoes?
If I were you, I'd look for a new job first.
Good, you used I'd and the base verb look.
It feels respectful. I am not ordering you.
Exactly. You were just sharing what you would do.
But Adam, what if the situation is dangerous?
If it is dangerous, being polite is not enough.
We need to be stronger?
Yes, we need to give a strong warning.
How do we do that without being rude?
There are two special phrases for that. Let's look at them. Okay, sometimes should is just not strong enough.
Like in an emergency or when something bad might happen?
Exactly. We need strong phrases. The first one is, you had better.
You had better. That sounds a bit strange grammatically.
It is strange, but it is very common. It means, do this or there will be a problem.
A problem? You mean a negative consequence?
Yes. A consequence is the result of an action, usually a bad result.
A consequence, like missing a train or getting sick?
Right. So, if your train leaves in 10 minutes, what do I say?
You had better leave now.
Perfect. But in natural speech, we contract had to d.
You'd better. You'd better go.
Yes, it sounds smoother. You'd better be careful.
Does it sound angry?
It can sound like a warning, so be careful with your tone.
Okay, I shouldn't smile when I say it.
Right. Now, the second phrase is, you really must.
Must? My teacher said must is very bossy.
It is strong, but adding really makes it sound caring.
Caring? How?
Imagine I am very sick. I can barely stand up.
Oh no, Adam, you really must see a doctor.
See, you are not bossing me. You were worried about me.
I see the difference. It shows strong emotion.
Let's compare you should study versus you'd better study.
You should study is just a suggestion. Maybe I do it, maybe not.
And the second one?
You'd better study or you will fail the exam.
Exactly. It implies the threat or a warning.
I am glad I know the difference now.
Use these only for important situations. Don't say, you'd better eat a cookie.
That would be funny. Eat the cookie or else.
Yeah, that is too much. Keep it for serious things.
So, you'd better for warnings, you really must for strong care.
You got it. Now let's flip the situation.
Flip it? What do you mean?
What if you are the one with a problem?
Oh, how to ask for advice.
Yes, let's learn how to ask for help in the next part. Now, let's talk about asking for help.
Phew, I need this part. Sometimes I don't know how to start the conversation.
It is actually quite simple. The most basic question is, what should I do?
What should I do? That is short and easy.
Yes, it invites the other person to give their opinion.
Can I make it a little longer to sound more polite?
Definitely. You can say, what do you think I should do?
What do you think I should do? It flows nicely.
Now, here is a very common mistake learners make with the word advice.
Oh, what is the mistake?
Students often say, please give me an advice.
Wait, isn't that correct? One advice, two advices?
No, advice is uncountable. You cannot count it.
Oh, really? So I never say an advice?
Never. You say, please give me some advice, or just advice.
Give me some advice. Do you have any advice?
Perfect. That sounds much more professional.
Interesting. What about the word recommend? Can we use that?
Yes, that's great for specific things like restaurants or movies.
So if I'm visiting a new city, what do I ask?
You can say, can you recommend a good hotel?
Can you recommend? Simple enough.
Or if you want their deep opinion on a situation, ask, what are your thoughts?
What are your thoughts? That sounds very mature.
It is. It shows you respect their brain and their logic.
Is there a slang way for close friends?
You can just say, got any ideas?
Got any ideas? That is very short.
It is casual and fast. Use it with friends only.
So we have what should I do? Do you have any advice? And can you recommend?
Exactly. And remember the grammar. Advice has no S at the end.
I will remember that. Some advice, not advices.
Okay, ask me for advice right now about anything.
Adam, I want to buy a car. What do you think I should do?
Well, cars are expensive. You should save money first.
I knew you would say that.
Hey, it is good advice. But what if you don't like my advice?
Yeah, I don't want to say no. That is a bad idea.
Exactly. You need to reject it politely.
That's tough. How do we say no without saying no?
Let's find out in the final part. Here we are. Okay, how to answer when someone advises you.
Saying yes is easy, right? You just say, thanks.
True, but we have some nice phrases for that. Like, that sounds like a good idea.
That sounds like a good idea. Or simply, I'll give it a try.
I'll give it a try. That shows you're ready to take action.
But Adam, what if the advice is bad?
You mean if I tell you to dye your hair green?
Exactly. I can't just say, no, that is stupid. That is rude.
You're right. We need to be diplomatic.
Diplomatic. What does that mean?
Diplomatic means dealing with people politely without hurting their feelings.
Without hurting their feelings. Okay, teach me how.
The best trick is the soft rejection. Start with a compliment, then use but.
Compliment, then but. Can you give an example?
That is a good suggestion, but I don't think it will work for me.
Ah, I see. You accepted the suggestion first.
Yes, it validates the person. It makes them feel heard.
How about this? I see your point, but I prefer to do it my way.
Excellent. I see your point is a very strong professional phrase.
Is there a phrase for when I just want to stop the conversation?
Yes, the magic phrase is, I'll think about it.
I'll think about it. Does that mean you will actually think about it?
Usually, no. It is a polite way to say, let's change the topic.
I use that all the time. I didn't know it was the standard phrase.
It is very common. It respects the advice without promising anything.
Let's practice. Give me terrible advice.
Okay, Anna, you look tired. You should quit your job and sleep for a month.
Quit my job.
Come on, be diplomatic. Don't get angry.
Well, that is an interesting perspective, Adam, but I need money to eat.
Bravo! That is an interesting perspective. Very polite.
It is nice because I didn't say you were wrong.
Exactly. You just shared your own reality.
This is useful for work too, not just friends.
Absolutely. In business, you must reject ideas carefully.
So we have, that sounds good, I see your point, but, and I'll think about it.
You have mastered it, Anna. You are ready for any conversation now.
I feel great. We covered so much today.
We sure did. Let's wrap everything up in the conclusion.
Let's do it.
Well, everyone, we have reached the end of today's lesson.
Time flies when you are having fun. We hope you feel more confident now.
Remember, giving advice is about helping people. Whether you use you should or if I were you, the intention is key.
Yes, and please don't forget to practice the polite ways to say no. That is a lifesaver.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please hit the like button. It really helps our channel grow.
And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next lesson. We have more great topics coming soon.
Before we go, we have a question for you.
Yes, we want to hear from you in the comments section.
What is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
Ooh, that is a good question. The best advice.
Tell us in the comments section below. Write it in English if you can.
We can't wait to read your answers. Thanks for listening, guys.
See you next time. Bye.